All right, and make sure I know where. Oh, okay, it's right there. All right, so I have to get used to where the location of another camera is, but at least this one actually is good. I mean, having the nice big display, I can be looking at the camera, so that it's part of one of the things actually I'll talk about on my personal blog with being autistic. I have to I have to always remind myself to make eye contact. It's one of the ways that a lot of people don't realize that I'm a high functioning autistic is because or high functioning autistic is because I'm able to I'm able to do things like maintain eye contact and things like that. So it's I try to actually look at the camera to be able to try to mimic the the whole thing of making eye contact. Uh, so anyway, whew, yeah. Let's see now. Yeah, this looks like to be back of the bicep. Oh, I think it might go up to about here, maybe up to about here. But either way, and then if you've ever seen Genos, yeah, this is actually going to have, eventually is actually going to have like the various things with the how it lights up. Uh, and what I want to do using servos and servos and oh god, I can't remember what the term for it is, but because I'm thinking Waldo, but no, it's probably gonna sound really simple, but basically, where you could have a armored shoulder piece that, uh, and it's hefty, like you're basically talking, what if football was what the typical football fan wants to see with like explosions and like the man's game. So basically, imagine being able to go from what amounts to basically football pads, uh, but when you go and you hit the thing, like the shoulder cap lifts up a little bit and piece extends down, and then maybe another piece extends down. Yeah, or if you have an armband and it slides up. I'm working on a modular support frame. I have a very nice, oh god, I have a very nice 3D model. Um, and so it really has given me a lot of good ideas. It's just I'm not quite sure how I'm a position sensing tech, so I'm gonna end up having to do it a little bit differently than I wanted it to. But basically, the way the Genos arms are is uh, they really clearly delineated so that you can sit there and say, okay, if I want this to be able to go from this to this, or I want this to go from here to to here, then how much clearance do they each of the pieces need within inside each other and everything. And the Geno's arm structure is really good. Like I really think I will be able to to do this the way that I want. Uh, okay, yes. Sorry, there was a specific thing from Iron Man that I wanted it to do, which is when he goes like this and it does the whole fold out into a shield. That was one of my inspirations, and then recently I've been watching a lot of anime lately, just because a friend of mine told me has been telling me about this one for a while, called Ruby, and I was really fascinated by the way the weapons worked. And I'm like, if you are dealing with a certain amount of technological wizardry, such as nanobots and things like that, oh yeah, you could definitely, decent. So I'm working on, I'm trying to work on armor that works the same basic principle. But I just think it'd be cool to be sitting there and be walking around in, your basic, like, I don't know, like kind of gladiator armor, style, or at least that kind of, you know, the big epaulets, maybe a piece in the back, some, bicep armor, maybe shoulder armor or something, a bracer, and basically just, like not full coverage, but then it's like, when you activate it, you know, a plate comes, like a couple of plates come down, or from the back piece. So I want to try to make. I mean, I also do. I'm some in some respects. I want to try to make at least a real world version of the suitcase armor, where Tony Stark and I think it was in two. I can I actually I sorry about that. I sometimes reverse which plot line was which. Uh, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was two. But where he's in the racetrack, and Whiplash is sitting there, so he goes and puts on the thing. I want to be able to just I want to kind of evoke that thing, because that's why I'm going to use an Iron Man chest plate. I haven't decided which Iron Man chest plate I'm going to do. I kind of like I want to do an Iron Man chest plate just because I mean it's gonna have an arc reactor anyway, but I mean I've seen several other chest plates that really kind of I don't know just seem a little bit better to me, but for some reason it's just the iron like an Iron Man chest plate right now is kind of my big top thing with it. Right now, I'm doing the four because I'm going to be doing the four as a build of its own. So this right now is actually starting the master molds. That was my previous section of videos with the wood glue drying thing. It was for those of you who caught my riveting series on watching wood glue dry. Uh, you now have a pretty good handle on how it works, what it does over the 24 to 48 hours with it. Uh, Overall, my what I like and dislike about it is uh, is the pot time. I mean, because I mean, it really. I mean, I actually probably could still go out there and just splash a little bit of water in the bucket, glue that I'd set up for my last video. It's just I thought I was going to be further along in the arms than I actually am at this point. Uh, so, uh, whew. um, so yeah, I'm doing the arms now, which I'll end up doing a lot of wood gluing and all there. But along with this, I have to just find the pattern. But I also have the arm. I have a Shiro from Voltron, the Last Defender. I think I can't remember what the name of it is. But they have the five paladins with the Bayards and so on and so forth. Shiro is the original Black Lion pilot, and he's got this mechanical arm that I may or may not mirror image uh, because I do kind of like it. So I may or may not be making those arms along with, or I'll do some, and go back and forth, and that way kind of give you a really good how like how the difference between like doing this type of material attaching versus when you're working with this and things that you have to take into account, such as spacing, stretching, etc. So anyway, I'm gonna cap this off, put on my playlist, and go back to dealing with all of these tiny little. This is what, yeah. I mean, it's worth. It is definitely worth the effort, but God, I hate those tiny little pieces. Anyway,